want to talk to Oscar?
Yeah, why not?
Hello, Oscar.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Oscar.
Hi there. If I may put a question to Fevzi.
Hello, Oscar.
Hi, Fevzi. I'm just stirring my mug of hot chocolate here.
The fidelity is remarkable. You know, it's
Hopefully
always I'm used to hearing people phone in to radio stations, and the acoustics of a normal phone call is so different to Skype.
Skype, yeah.
I still don't really get used to it. It's a very different fidelity, and it's in many ways much better.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you, how are you with valve audio amplifier circuits?
Not very good. I have a degree in applied physics, but I'm not so old that I used to do it in valves. So ask away. If I can, I will.
Excuse me, you look it.
Well,
you're so rude.
What it is with a valve push-pull audio amplifier.
Yes. Using
something like a pair of KT88s. It's normal with valves, of course, that they operate with a negative bias rail, isn't it? On the grids.
Okay, now I'll be honest with you. I just about understand what you're saying, but this is not my specialisation. But carry on. If I can help, I will. But I suspect.
Yeah, well, maybe someone else.
Okay, well, ask the question. We'll throw it out.
Yeah. What it is I read somewhere, it was in a catalogue of one of the suppliers, there was a little note there by the valves saying that you should use separate cathode resistors if you're operating with cathode bias. Now, normally ideally with valves you have a negative rail for the control grids. But in the absence of that, because it introduces complexity in having to have the additional voltage rail within the power supply, what people do is they use a cathode resistor. So you have a resistor in the cathode,
yes,
and thereby you elevate the cathode to a bias voltage above the deck, above the ground, the earth potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the grids are, through the grid leak resistor, the grids are effectively at 0 volts down to deck.
Okay.
Through the grid leak resistor. So you kind of created this bias that isn't really. You've reduced the HT voltage by the cathode voltage, which is the bias.
I don't wish to be rude, but the difficulty here is that almost everyone that's now listening won't understand what you're saying.
Right.
So what I would say is, if you can ask a question about this quickly, please do so. Otherwise, I know that there are a couple of people on GadgetDetective.com that are not bad on this sort of circuitry. You might try there, although there are specialist sites that probably suit you better. But can you ask a question? Can you just cut to the chase and ask the question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Can you understand any reason why you should have to use 2 separate cathode resistors instead of one common one?
Okay. Now, I don't know the answer to that, so we're going to throw it out. But I would also ask you, please, because I'd be interested to see if we have anyone on Gadget Detective that can actually answer this question. Would you mind going to GadgetDetective.com, clicking on free tech advice and asking the question there as well?
Okay.
Would you mind?
Oh, I'll try and do that.
All right.
As soon as possible, over the next day or so, when I get a chance, I'll have a look at that and stick that up there, see if anyone can perhaps answer that. It's interesting, because I always thought that you didn't have to, and yet I read in this thing. I do know that in data books as well, when you get valve data books, they quote the cathode resistor per valve. Yet I've seen circuits showing a common resistor instead of 2 separate ones. And just thinking from first principles, I couldn't think of any reason why.
Any reason why. It's beyond my training and memory, so I'm not going to hazard a guess at that one.